Well, here is the former peavey Plaza. It still is peavey Plaza. Fortunately, as you can see, we've got pathetic lighting. And that straight ahead would be the pond that no longer has any water in it. Here's the new version of the plaza that the forces of pig fascism wish to create. Those trees, of course, would take 40 years to grow that big. You can see there's no seating in the place. And there's the building that's right there behind it getting demolished. So all the cool architecture is gone. There's a hatch hill at the end like a million other places and a big flat square rectangle with nowhere to sit, no shade. And mysteriously, because they keep thumping on how the Americans with Disabilities Act needs more access, even though they have a handicap ramp over there and over there, there's none in this picture. Not to mention, what are they going to do? Sit out in the hot sun with no trees for shade? I love that. Not even any water to look at. Oh, a lot of what shut us down though was the pricks at that establishment right there. Brits. Full of wankers. Yes. Fuck them in their asses. These cool pipes. Well, we can't really see them, but that would be part of it. This is the oldest modern architecture example of modernism in the North American continent for the use of a public space such as a plaza. And the trees and the architectural forms kind of match the greenway, which links Loring in this area with a bridge. Of course, the centerpiece of it, the end over here, would be gone. That makes a lot of sense. But you can see there's lots of different stairs and different things. All the violence and supposed drinking went on probably the last 30 years. But because occupiers care about what happens to people and call ambulances if people stumble around and get injured, there was more reports and they tried to use that against us. Where normally the cops would just shuffle people down here, let them get all fucked up and maybe even die, and not care because they're out of sight. Wonder how many of them actually bought beer at Breath, an American establishment named after wankers that we had to fight a war to get free of. Imagine that. Whereas I got a lot of things to say about a lot of things. Like all the concentrated white guilt you find over at the Knock. Well, it's okay for the black woman that runs the place not want any non-black occupiers there if you kissed her ass enough, or their ass enough, and passed the test, the special vetting, which seems to largely involve being either a gay dude, crunchy granola, veganoid, sister. In other words, these skinny, emaciated, anemic white chicks who got some kind of worthless social science degree, which is essentially useless, but you can work for charities and non-profits doing paper shuffling. And think about how educated you are and progressive without actually doing anything. They got plenty of money and talk about sharing the wealth and redistributing and how all the occupiers got to help each other and support each other, which would all be great because that's what we do down here at Peavey. We get a $20 donation. It's spread equally amongst everyone. We have a vote and decide what's important and what to spend it on. Or over there, it gets secretly tallied up by the one or two people that control the money or have finance powers. Of course, like say Espinosa, no one ever shows up to anything unless there's going to be cameras. And the budget seems to never go anywhere but to them. So they got nice meals with fancy food. Hell, they got so much good food they can throw out lots of it. Because of course they're not actually hungry. They have homes and well-paying jobs and don't really even feel that hungry, but we're putting on food because that's what you do at an event. Well, they let the people that actually do the real occupying get ran out by the cops, tasered, and fucking starve. But since they position themselves, they get all the donations coming in off the internet. And of course, I swear to God that since they are, in theory, working under Occupy Wall Street, that there was a little rule in there about transparency. But it seems the transparency stops there. Or maybe they don't have to follow those rules because they're Occupy homes for people that have a home. I bet as a block they'll all be big Paul Ryan supporters. Probably threw a little party when they managed to block that recount in Wisconsin. All sad and shedding tears that Plenty didn't get to be president. No, I shouldn't go that far against them. Some of them have good intentions, I'll give them that. Although, the little yuppanoids that seem to have got themselves positions of power, like Espinosa's equivalent from Atlanta. Which, we did actually learn, of course, this is leadership talking for them. But, there was a number of things that I jotted down that could apply to forming a more solid and getting shit done group here at Occupy Peavey. But a lot of it was, our priority is the home owners, and other people can help us and do actions. But all the voting and important decisions will be made by the home owners. Which mysteriously precludes basically any of us, or college kids, or many of their other supporters. Because, of course, they want the help and they want the money. They don't want riffraff like us voting on how to spend it, or even get a few crumbs of it. Somehow, doing a noise rally at 2 in the morning outside a police station once in a while, rattling tin cups, gets something accomplished. I wonder if they can even hear them inside the building. And spending Occupy money to go bowling and sip on martinis is getting something accomplished. They're camping out here on one of the busiest streets in Minneapolis where literature could be handed out, outreach could be done. We could perhaps talk to people about why we're doing what we're doing. No, that isn't anything worth funding. No, instead we're just going to Facebook each other and show up for the cameras once in a while. That's effective. And of course the concentrated white guilt. Well, you notice they don't do shit for Indians other than want AIM to help them, want AIM to let them use their stuff. But I believe they were asked by AIM to do a little outreach down in Phillips' neighborhood about drinking. I didn't hear as many excuses in one very quick amount of time since perhaps a political speech. Perhaps Bill Clinton trying to weasel out while admitting guilt for busting a nut on Monica's dress. But no, it was sheer bullshit. It was, well, it'd be racist if we did outreach and told Indians not to drink. Of course, if you think about that, well, who brought the alcohol? Who used the alcohol? If anyone read that little story on the genocidal shit they did to Little Crow and his people, signed by, of course, the great Negro emancipator Lincoln, they happened to steal a lot of Dakota's land, their 640-acre land and family allotments, by either tricking them with alcohol. They pulled a similar trick on my great-grandpa after murdering his wife. But anyway, that's beside the point. And maybe like the Sibley's, many of these organizations which now have foundations and donate money to things and try to do good, got their money by stealing the Indians' land cheap, well, stealing the little allotment that they received of their own land, which had already been stolen, and then doing land speculation on it and inflating the price. Oh, they've done this before. Durr. It's not a new thing. But anyway. See, yeah, great people these. I remember one quote where the woman who was, get this, the head of the Minnesota abolitionists, and I believe she lived in St. Cloud, but she was the leader of the Minnesota Abolitionist Association. Long, beautiful speech on human rights and all people are equal and slavery is wrong and how we got to end slavery and all that. And then at the end she talks about how Indians are not human. How every last Native American in Minnesota should be exterminated. Every man, woman, and child because, quote, we are nothing but animals. But of course, you know, I look at it and say, well, why is there so much white guilt? How come they don't feel guilty over genocide and stealing an entire fucking country, but they feel bad getting some free labor out of the Negroes? And I think, why? One seems a little worse to me than the other. Not that they both aren't bad. And the answer, when you think about it, is really clear. Because the group they feel guilty over has been their faithful companions, their faithful helpers. They wouldn't be where they are without the cheap labor, without the help, without using them. And now, of course, they feel guilty. But the Indians did not help them. Did not help them one bit. Did not try to be like them. Did not start dressing like them. Although nowadays it seems that they're finally catching on that. But when you think about it though, they got those results, that assimilation, in 1 to 2 generations in the South. It's taken them till now today, so close to 500 years to accomplish the same thing with a group of Indians, which I believe is the cause of alcoholism. We know that their way of destroying the earth is fucking retarded. We know this entire capitalist rat race system is fucking retarded. It is not how a person should live. It is not the way the Creator wants anyone to fucking live. And I think those that really feel their spirit know it's bullshit, and would rather get shit-faced than join this fucking rat race. In other words, you'd have to be shit-faced to stand living in this fucked up world where you have to slave away for little pieces of paper to get a little food from massa.